Parenting is a lifelong responsibility, one of unconditional love and unending sacrifice, as parents are the foundation of every home that creates a safe environment for the development of a child's personality and potentiality through nurturing and protection.
And considering the indispensable role of parents, the United Nations has set aside June the 1st every year as Global Day of Parents. On this day, the parents are supposed to be recognized for what they do and the roles they play in the lives of their children or wards, with the aim of promoting bonding and responsible parenting. Joining me now to talk about this is a parent, consultant psychiatrist, Dr. Yinka Jibuno. It's good to have you join me in the studio right now.
Good morning, sir.
Great. Now, happy World Parents Day, even though it's coming up tomorrow anyway.
I wish you the same.
Now, how would you rate or assess the role of parents in the life of children? The point there is everyone looks forward to being a parent one day, and we all know what role our parents play in our lives. But if we compare the last few decades and now, how would you assess the role of parenting?
Oh, so as parents, our roles are very vital in the lives of our children because they've been placed in our care. They've been placed in our care. We're supposed to offer some form of guardianship. We're supposed to raise them to the point when they're able to become independent and go on their own. I believe that parenting has changed or taken a different turn because of westernization. So the world is now like a global village.
Do you think the quality of parenting has dropped?
I don't think so. I just think it's a bit more refined.
More refined.
Yes,
so is it
a
better
bit more
off?
Western now.
Okay.
Yes, so the westernization has taken a big toll on the way we parent. So I would say it's a bit more Western now.
Being a bit more Western, well, the world is a global village, like you say, but being a bit more Western, does that contradict the Africanness of what a parent is?
I believe as Africans, we still need to maintain that sense of identity. We still need to maintain our culture. I think that's what brings the extra in parenting. So even if we become Western to an extent, we should still maintain that culture, that sense of identity. That's what would.
But how challenging would that be? Because these days you find parents who don't even speak their languages to their children.
Yeah,
and that is the first form of culture you pass on to the next generation.
Yeah.
And then there are also foods and the mode of dressing,
Yes.
which a lot of people have become too metropolitan to see themselves doing in their cultures.
Yeah. So, but it's just important that we go back to our roots. Really, we're Africans. We shouldn't throw away that Africanness about us. We should still go back to our roots and make sure that we maintain that culture. I try to do that. I can't really speak my, because I'm married to an Igbo person, I can't really speak the Igbo language, but I make sure that my children get Igbo lessons. So I have an Igbo lesson teacher that teaches them Igbo just to make sure that they are able to carry their culture from one generation to another. So I think we can always put that effort in, that extra effort.
When it comes to being role models to children, how would you also say parents are doing? Because we've gotten reports recently. Sometime there was a news report recently where a parent was trying to help the child to pass examinations and things like that. We often hear of things like that.
Yeah, so I guess that's where parenting styles come in. So different parents have different styles. It's usually in tune with their personality. That kind of parent probably comes across as permissive. So in that kind of relationship, probably the child is the boss. The child makes the decisions, makes the rules. So the parent just follows along. So
wants to make the child happy.
Yeah, so everything just to make the child happy. Of course, there are repercussions for that along the line, but parenting style plays a big role. Now, talking about parenting style, I'll just break that into 4 different categories. Okay. So the first one we just talked about is the permissive style, where the child is like the master. The child wants this, he gets everything he wants. It's almost like the parent is not the one just following behind, Then we have the neglectful or the uninvolved parent who is too busy to be in their child's life. So they're so busy doing so many other things that they don't really get to know their child. They're not connected to that child. So
it looks like the child is on his own.
Is on his own. So you go through years. You might now find that when the child is 15, the child says something that happened to them when they were 5 years, and the parent's like, how come I never knew about that? Because you were not connected. Okay. And you get to find out 10 years after later, when the damage has been done. So that is uninvolved or neglectful parenting. Okay. We have the authoritarian parenting style, which is very very disciplinary, very strict, but there's very little warmth. So you dish out orders, you must come first in class, you must do this, you must do that. And you see those
like
children.
An over-structured system.
Yeah, so you see those children, when they don't come first in class, they can't go home.
Oh.
They're so afraid to go home because I know the fact that I came second, I'm in trouble. So that is a bit extreme. Okay. There's very little warmth. But for the authoritative, what would differentiate in that kind of scenario, what would differentiate the authoritarian from the authoritative is that an authoritative child was expected to come first. He didn't come first, came second. He will still feel happy to go home because he knows my parents know, okay, I tried, but I didn't come first, but they will still love me anyway. Okay. So he'll still be comfortable, he'll still want to go back home and still feel loved, even if he didn't achieve that.
So there's some
100%.
level of balance in that.
Yes, so with the authoritative, there's a lot of warmth. There's still discipline, there's still strictness, but there's still a lot of warmth, so you still feel loved.
All right.
I always say that that's what differentiates like the child of a petty trader from a very successful businessman. Because you say, oh, a child of a petty trader turned out really well, and then the son of a millionaire, because probably that tomato seller showed a lot of warmth, was strict, but there's a lot of warmth compared to maybe the millionaire that spent his life maybe chasing a lot of money and was a bit neglectful or uninvolved.
And not involved in the life of the
Yes,
child.
So.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yinka Ajibuna, for all of that. We're learning new things. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Right.